Welcome everyone to the 11 Trading YouTube channel. Now in today's video we are going to show you how to set up a lovely clean chart, where you'll go for your analysis, some of the common tools you'll use, and this is for you beginner traders out there who have maybe never looked at a chart before. You're dipping your toes into trading and you want to know what to do first. Well, this is one of your first steps. So let's do this. First place we're going to go, TradingView, tradingview.com. Nearly every trader I know uses TradingView. It's an international platform, very commonly used. So let's get into it. We're going to go down here and search the markets, and for the sake of the video we're going to use a very common pair, which is Euro USD, the euro against the dollar. If it's not there, you can search for whatever you're looking for in the search bar, but because we're going to use a common pair, it is already in the list for us. So we're going to click on launch chart. Now this is what you see when you first click on the chart. A little bit confusing maybe at a first glance. Don't worry, we are going to sort that out right now. Right, first thing we're going to do, we're going to right click on the back screen, go to settings, and the first thing we want to do is remove these grid lines. We don't need them, they're unnecessary. Let's get rid of them. So click on the drop down box, we're going to go to none, and it's looking better already. Next thing we're going to do is go to the crosshair. We're going to have it as a straight line, not a dashed line, not a dotted line. And let's just soften that up a little bit so it's not so invasive on the screen. That in these settings is all we're really going to do for now. There are other things you can do. You can adjust the scales lines, the timeline. You can adjust what you can see up here. If you go to this, you'll see certain things disappear, the logo. Again, this is all personal preference. You can leave what you want on there. You can clear it all out completely. I personally have a few of those things on there, but it is down to you at the end of the day. One other thing before we leave the settings box, let's have a quick look at the candles. A little psychology trick that I used is I like to have my candles black, everything black, borders, wicks, and the body. Reason being, if you get a big green candle or a big red candle, for some people it can be triggering and cause a change of bias, a change of mind, when you don't necessarily need to, because if you look at the overall price action picture, you'll see that that big candle was part of a bigger story. So black candles can help with your psychology if that's something you're struggling with. If not, and for the sake of this video, we are gonna stick to the classic red and green, something like that. Okay, so we've got our candles set up, we've got our background set up. What we're going to do now is remove this indicator. This is the volume indicator. We don't really need this. You can use it, some people do, some people don't. You'll find your own way with these things, but for the sake of the video, again, to keep a clean chart, we're going to remove it. So it's looking great. Chart's looking great. What we can do, we can also go to this button up here and go to full screen mode. Again, maybe gives us a slightly clearer picture of what we're doing. So what else do we need? So let's go over some of the tools that you might use when you are doing your analysis. And just to stress that point, guys, this is only for analysis. This is just where you're going to plot up your zones, plot your risk to reward tool on the chart, and do your day-to-day analysis. You will not be placing any trades on this platform. You will do that through your broker, through either MT4 or MT5, but that is another video down the line. So let's have a look at some of the tools. I have favorited some of them up here already. So we're going to click on this box on the left. Your tools are here on the left. First tool up here, trend line tool. Now, self-explanatory, you can draw your trend lines. You don't have to use it just for that. Personally, I use it to mark out things like liquidity or inducement levels, breaks of structure. Again, another video. If you're fresh to this, we're not going to go into that on this video. But that is the trend line tool. If you double click on the tool, it's going to give you a lot of options to play with. You can change the color, you can change the line, you can change the thickness, you can change it to an arrow, lots and lots of different options. TradingView is very dynamic, very flexible. You can put your own stamp on everything. I like to stick to the blacks, the purples, colors like that. But again, it's completely personal preference. So that's the trend line tool. Next up, you are probably going to want to use the horizontal line. This will help you mark out things like supply and demand zones, key levels, support and resistance, depending on what strategy you use. Again, it's completely customizable. Pinks, blues, greens, whatever you want to do it as. You can also add text, same as the trend line tool. You can type in whatever you want there, and you can have it middle, top, left, right, up, down, completely up to you. Next one, so you can see we've got those in the favorites as well. We've got the horizontal line, we've got the trend line tool. Let's move over to the box tool, the rectangle tool. Now, one of my most commonly used tools. I use this to mark out supply and demand areas, my entry zones, sometimes pools of liquidity. But all you need to know for this type of video is it is a very commonly used tool and very, very helpful to mark out the zones you need. Again, without repeating myself too much, fully customizable. You can have it however you want it. Middle line, backgrounds, your choices are infinite and it's completely down to you. I like to keep everything very neutral, greys, soft colours. Trading can be quite stressful, so if you've got some wacky, crazy colours on the charts, it might not help. But again, each to their own. Whatever suits you, suits you. So, next one. A very important one. You're going to plot this on when you are looking to take your trades, and it's going to be your long and short tool. Okay. So if you're looking to go long, you're going to want this one. If you're looking to go short, you're going to want this one. And it will tell you things like your risk to reward ratio, how many pips you're looking at, and so on. Again, nice and easy. We can plot it on, and it's gonna give us an insight as to where our trade might go when we're ready to enter a trade. Again, this is not entering a trade. This is just a representation of what you want to happen should you be looking to enter a trade. So, last up, we're not going to go into all of the tools because there are a lot of them. There's a lot you can do on here, but this will be a separate video on its own, but it is the Fibonacci tool. Okay, Fibonacci is something very, very common in Forex and trading in general. There are certain levels you use, but again, we will go over that at a different time. Fibonacci tool, right there, fib retracement. A couple of others which I do use, a bit of text maybe, if you ever want to make some notes on the screen, very helpful. And also maybe something such as the brush tool, just to mark a few things out, maybe write a few things on the charts. Again, personal preference, you will find your own way, and there's no rush to find your own way. So those are the main tools you're going to be looking at using, okay, without making things super complicated. Let's move on and have a look at a couple of other features that you will very commonly use on TradingView, and that is time frames. The time frames can be found in this top left corner. If you click on the drop down box, you'll see you've got various time frames. You can star them like the tools, and they will appear on that top left hand side. The common ones will be 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly. Now you can see they're all up there, each giving you a different perspective. And a little tip for you very beginners, each candle here represents the amount of time you're looking at. So 1 hour, one candle is 1 hour of price action. If you're on the 5 minute, one candle is 5 minutes worth of price action. I wouldn't recommend looking into the very low time frames to start off with. If you are brand new to trading, sticking to something like the hourly, the 4 hour, the daily, the higher time frames is going to be better for you at the beginning. It can be a bit crazy on the lower time frames, and I would wait until you've got a little bit more experience before jumping into those. Next up, I'm going to show you the indicators box. It's here in the center of this information on the left hand side. Now, I don't personally use any actual technical indicators, but there's a lot on here. If you wanted to put the volume back on, you could look for something like that. There's lots and lots of things on there. Again, each to their own. The way we teach and the way we trade, we don't actually use any indicators on the chart, but depending on who you may learn from or where you get your information from, you may find it useful. But there it is. The bar replay tool here. Okay, so very useful tool. You can take price back to a certain point, maybe to help you test something or be a bit more accurate on something you were maybe looking at to test on a strategy. You can fast forward, up the speed, pause it, one candle at a time. That is the bar replay tool. Down here on the right to cancel that. Something else you've got down here, these little flags. Now with Euro USD, the USD flags are going to show you some US news. Okay, so news coming out on that day. Same with the euro. We've got GDP growth rate, inflation rate. Just to give you a little heads up that you may have news that day. You can remove that. Right click, hide events on the chart. You don't necessarily need it on there. Now the scale on the right hand side here is your price. That is the price currently we are sitting at. So euro 1.08605. If you want a bit more information on what exactly that means, then go to our Discord or our Instagram, get the ebook, and you will see a breakdown on what exactly that means. So down the bottom, time, price. As you can see, we're on a quite high time frame here. We're on the daily, so it's breaking it down in days. Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If we go down to something like the 5 minute, you can see we're more in time there. So 12:45, 12:50, 12:55, and that is each candle there. Okay, so a couple of other little bits just to go through before we wrap this up, and I hope you found this useful so far. We can go to this little box here and we can split the screen. I can't do it on this one because I'm just on a basic program. On my actual charts, I do generally split my screens and maybe have something like the higher time frame on the left and a lower time frame on the right, just to keep myself grounded as to where I am in price. So that is another little thing you can use. And then on the right hand side, our watch list, a little bit of information about the Euro USD, a buy and sell indicator. If I can give you one piece of advice, don't buy based on that indicator and don't sell based on that indicator. Do your own analysis. That will be a lagging indicator, and more than likely has no relevance as to whether you should buy or not. So that's our watch list. If we've got different charts we can load up, they will be in here. You can also click the plus and add any kind of symbol that you want to look at. For example, GBP USD, British pound against the dollar. Click on it and it will fly into our watch list there. Okay, anything else to go over? I think we've covered everything we need to there. If you are brand new into this, I hope you've enjoyed the video. We do have a free beginners section in our Discord group. It will always be free to beginners and it will help you out with some basics like this chart work, maybe some case studies, some terminology. Go through our Instagram channel to find that, and we will put the links in the bottom of this video. If you've enjoyed this, if you found it helpful, guys, like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you found helpful. Let us know if there's anything else you want to see, and we will catch you on the next video.